Hi, I'm Jamie and welcome to Teachers Tech. Today I want to show you how to use Google Gemini. If you work in the Google environment, this is something you need to learn before you fall behind. I want to show you in 3 different types of accounts how to use Gemini. I'm going to show in my personal account that I have upgraded with Gemini Advanced. I want to show you in my Google Workspace for business account to see what all the options are there. And I also want to show you just the free account of all the things that you can do. And is it even worth it upgrading to pay for it when you can do all this for free? So these are the things I want to show you today on Teachers Tech. When I'm showing you how Gemini works today, I'm going to be showing you out of my personal account that has the upgraded to Gemini Advanced. The reason I'm doing this is because it has all the options. I'll let you know if it's not available in one of the other ones. If you are using the free one, you'll probably notice that there's a link to bring you to this page to upgrade to the advanced one. This is what I'm doing right here. I'm just trying this for free for 2 months to see if I like it. Very similar how you have to pay for ChatGPT 4 or Copilot for the upgrades. Now the difference is between the free and the paid for version here. Notice mine is $26.99 Canadian. How much is that US? I'm not even sure. Is that $19.99? Let me know. I'm just curious about that down below in the comments. Now, the big things here that you do have the latest technology when it comes to AI with using this one. And if we move down here, this is embedded into your Gmail, Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Meet. And I am going to show you how to use Gemini in those as well in this video. Here I am in my Gemini Advanced. This is the 1.0 Ultra. Up at the top, you can see where it says it. I can actually switch back to the 1.0 Pro if I wanted to, but since I'm paying for it, that doesn't make much sense. Now, the first thing that I want to show you is down in settings right here. So if I go ahead and click on this, if you don't want to have dark theme like I have, you can go and toggle it on and off. Now, I keep my real-time responses on, and this is on by default. Extensions is an important part here, and that's why I'm showing you from this account, because currently in my business work account, it's not there. So what I mean by that is if I go over, so this is my Gemini for Teachers Tech, this is a business account that I pay for. If I check my extensions under settings, notice that it says coming soon. And the extensions are an important part of Gemini that connects to your Google Drive, to your Gmail, just to make everything more powerful. So when it comes on, everything I'm showing you from my other account here will be applicable, and that's why I'm working from this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and click extensions because I want to make sure you have it turned on the way you want. Now, these top ones, I actually have them toggled off. You can see how they're toggled to the gray, and I'm not going to be using them. You can see what they'll do. And it's just about using the @ symbol, and then it's going to pop up, but we'll come back to that in a moment. I want to make sure I have my Google Workspace on and YouTube, because with Google Workspace here, I'm going to be able to find location of files, ask it to sum up docs, break things down. And with the YouTube one on, I can actually put a YouTube link of a video and it can sum up that video. And I'll show you how that's done a little bit later too. But let's go back now and we're going to go and create our first prompt. I do want to point out these extensions here are available in the free one. So this will work, what I show you in there. Now let's go and start a new chat just by clicking here. So down at the bottom here, we're going to enter a prompt. But before we write anything, we're going to take a look at the different connections we have with the extensions. So I'm just going to go and put the @ symbol. And notice I have Gmail, Google Docs, Drive, and YouTube here. These other ones are disabled like I showed you when I went through them. Now I'm just going to pick Gmail to begin with, and I'm going to go through a few different examples. I'm going to go and say I want it to find all emails that are utility bill in the last year. Now, if I go ahead and submit this, it's going to go through all of my emails and in the last year, find any utility bill. And what I like about this, it will kind of give me a brief summary, but then it's also going to connect all those individual emails that I can open up just by clicking. So here we go right here. It went through, showed me the last year of different bills that I have that are utility ones. And then it shows me that it's coming from Gmail. If I click on any of these are going to open up that individual email in a new tab. So this makes it a lot easier searching in here than in your Gmail, because you can have a conversation when you're trying to find a certain email in it. I do want to point out a couple of features, and I'm going to come back to different ones. You do have listen here. So if I click listen,
in the last year, you have received 2 emails that are utility bill.
It will read it to me. And I find the way it reads, it doesn't have that fake AI sounding voice. It actually has quite a nice voice to it. Now let's try something else. So let's try this as a prompt. Let's go back using our @ and this time we'll do Google Drive. Let us ask this question. So can you find me all documents that mention academic indicators in PDF format? Let's go ahead and submit this. Now it goes through my Google Drive, finds the different documents that I'm looking for, and shows me that they're in PDF here. And again, I can click on them right here, and it's going to open up in a new tab. Let's try this now. I'm going to go ahead and create new chat. When I do this, I can always go back to previous chats here as well. I'm going to search for a file. I want to get a summation of a certain file I wrote, but I can't remember the exact name. So I'm going to use the @Google Drive, and I'll say find a file about football. Let's say I know I wrote one. I don't remember the title, but I know it has football in it. I'm going to hit submit. It went through and found this document right here called the National Football League. So what I can do now is if I go down to the prompt, and this time I'm going to say @Google Docs, and I'm just going to paste in this prompt. Give me a summary in 5 brief points that I wrote about the National Football League. I want to point out here, if you look at the National Football League, notice I have it in quotations here because that refers to the exact file, the exact name over here. Let's go ahead and submit this. And there we go. It took 5 different points, precise points that it pulled out of the document. I still have it linked here. Now, what can I do with this? I could copy paste this out of here. But what I like here at the very bottom with sharing, notice if I click on share and export, I can export this to a brand new Google Docs or into an email draft in Gmail that I could quickly send to somebody. Here's a tip about how to use Google Gemini. You're going to love this one. So I'm just going to enter a new prompt, a little differently this time. I'm going to go, and I already did a search about graph in education and health. So here's a graph. I haven't really even looked at it here, but I'm just going to go ahead and right click on this, copy the image, go back over here and paste it in. Now, the other thing I want to point out is there's the use the microphone. I'm going to ask it to do something for me. Can you sum up this graph for me and let me know what it's about? And let's go ahead and send this. Now take a look at this. So just from a copy and a paste of that graph into it, spoke in, asking it for a summation, it gave me some information here. Now I could have been more precise with my prompt on this, but I just wanted to show you the ease of this. Now do remember when you go ahead and ask this different questions, there's going to be show different drafts. Now I can pick a different draft, and this is going to come up in all your different prompts as well. So if I pick, let's say, a different draft, it's going to go and give me different information on this. So I just want you to be aware of this. But don't forget about, you can keep asking it, go further into it. As you read the information, how can you have that conversation with it to get more precise with exactly what you're looking for? So how could you use Gemini to help you research? Maybe it's about summing up articles, whether it be online on a website or PDFs. So let's try this in a new chat. I'm going to ask Gemini this. So I want to know what type of prompts can I use in Gemini that will help me summarize articles. And remember, you can ask Gemini for help like this to understand how your prompts should be created. So if I go ahead and submit this, Gemini gives me ideas on how I could ask. It starts with the basic, summarize this article for me, but then it starts to give me a little bit more. Do I want to emphasize any key points? Do I have a specific angle that I want to look at this? Do we have advanced prompts? So if you're learning how to create these prompts, you can ask Gemini to help you out with this. What I would suggest is when you're starting with your prompts, start simple, layer it in, and then get more specific as you go along. And remember to have that conversation. Now let's apply this. And for this, I'm just going to keep things very simple. I'm just going to be asking it to summarize some articles for me. And I have some examples. Here's just from a website here, we have an article that I want to get a summation of. So what I can do is I can take the URL from here. I'm just going to go Control C, go back to Gemini and ask it to sum it up. So I'm just going to keep this simple and I'll say sum it up. And I'll paste that in, and it's going to go through and sum up that article that I just connected it to. So here is the short summary of that article here with the link to this one as well. Now, remember, we can quickly share and export this if you wanted to email this or put it in a Google Docs. If I have a PDF like this one, and notice this PDF is online, so I can go ahead and take the URL from this one, go back to Gemini, do the same thing. I'll just say sum it up and paste the URL of that PDF in, and it will go through that PDF online and give me a summary or what I ask from it. Now, what happens if your PDF is on your computer? Notice there's not a place to upload this PDF in Gemini. So what you can do is if you have a PDF on your computer, you could upload it to Google Drive. Now, I could take the link from this, and if I am going to take the link, if I was going to go and share and copy the link, I have to make sure that I would give Gemini edit access on that document. But the other way, once it's uploaded to Google Drive, remember, I can go ahead, go to my Google Drive and find, I'll say find an article on AI, and it will look through my drive and find that article, and then I can ask it to sum it up from here. So now it gave me a little bit of information here, but I can also get more exact in the type of prompt that I want to ask it to give me more. Here's another fantastic feature in Gemini. This time, I'm going to summarize a video from YouTube, and then I'm going to make a quiz from it. Watch this. So I'm just going to go over to my YouTube channel here, and I'm going to go to this video. This don't miss out on Microsoft 365 Copilot features. So if you want to compare Copilot to Gemini, go check out this video. But I'm going to go and take this link. So I'm just going to right click, copy link, and I'm going to go back to Gemini. This time I'm going to use the I'm going to say at YouTube, and I'll paste this link in. And I'm going to say, please summarize. Just like that. So it will go through and give me a summary of the video. And I know as I go through it, I'll be able to check how accurate it is. So now taking a glance through the different parts of the video, since I made it, I know what's in it, and it looks like it did pull out the key points from each one. This was about a 20-minute video there, and this looked like it did a good job. Remember, what I can do is show different drafts also to get different ones. It will go through and give me more options where I can regenerate it. But what I want to show right now, if I go now from a video, and I'm going to ask, can you make a quiz out of this? So just with that question, and remembering if I was getting more exact on the prompt, I could direct it towards a certain age group and what type of questions. But as I looked through the first time, you can see that it's giving me a multiple choice, but it took that information from summarizing up that video and now made a quiz from it with the answer key down below. Whenever you see this down here, you can modify your response. So if I go ahead and click on it, do we want this shorter, longer, simpler, more casual, more professional, and it will rewrite it based on those. As you go through and create more and more prompts, you're going to find that this list gets quite long. Now, you might get some of these that you want to make sure that you remember, and you don't want to have to go through the whole list. You can pin them. So if I said, if this was a really good one here, if I click on the ellipsis and go pin, and now it's going to pin this chat, I'll click pin, and it puts it to the top, and you can see the pins right there. So I can put my best ones at the top that I can go back to again and again. Another way, what I can do with any of these different prompts as I go through, I can actually share them on a page that Gemini will create. So if I notice, I talked about draft and email and docs. If I click share here, so I can create a public page to share. So this prompt and responses, so are the entire chat, and I can go and create that public link. Then if I go back over to my settings, you notice your public links are right here. So this is where you would be able to find them. Before I jump over into the apps and show you how Gemini works within the Google apps, I want to do one more thing, and I'm going to give a detailed prompt here. So I'm just going to paste this in, and this detailed prompt is going to be about writing an insightful essay on the impact of technology. Now, with this prompt, it's structured in a clear intro, body, conclusion. It has specifics about the need of balance and discussion and examples. And so it goes through and gets really detailed. And as you get more detailed in your prompts, you're going to get better output. But again, you can start simple and add to it. So let's go ahead and just submit this. So we have this that it wrote, and as I just skimmed through it, it looks like it did pull in the information from the prompt that I was asking for. And what I want to point out is this right here, this double check response. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on it. Now, what I want to see is green. So green is showing that it is probably correct. So if I go and just expand this, it will show me that work from home technology, empower, remote, and it has all the connections to it, and it shows me where it's coming from. But with some of these other colors, I'm going to expand it here. So Google search didn't find relevant content. So consider researching this further. So it goes through and it will check the paper that it wrote and let you know of how it's looking with what it found. I just want to bring attention to the prompts that they have up here. I'm going to go ahead and select this one, walk me through solving a problem. So if I click on this here, the prompts down below, it shows me where I just could change a few of these words to get it to be exactly the problem that I want to solve. So as you go through and as they get put up here, take a look at them and how they're creating them and how you would just change them to work for you. And the more you practice looking at them this way, then your prompt writing gets better and better as well. I don't want you to forget that you can create images within Gemini. So if I was going to go and prompt it here, create me a powerful prompt for creating an image in Gemini showing a scorpion in the desert. Now, the reason I'm asking it for the prompt, because it will go through and give me ideas of how to emphasize different things. So notice in this first one, a colossal scorpion, the pincers gleaming in the moonlight. You can get different options here. So if I was going to say, and I'm just going to pick this one as an example, and I'm going to copy it, and I'll say create an image of, and I'm going to go and paste it down here. Now it's going to go and create that image for me. So here's the image that it came. I could go through and generate more. If I select on any of these, I can go through the download buttons right up top if you want to download it in full size. But ask Gemini to help you when you're creating the prompts for the images. At this point of the video, I want to leave Gemini here and go into the individual apps of Google. So I want to take a look at Gmail, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, and Google Meet. So we're going to go through and look how Gemini is embedded in them. Now at this point, I want to point out that in the free version, you're not going to have access to Gemini embedded into these apps. But with the business workspace, you're going to have it. And if it's turned on with the school workspace, you'll also have it allowed there. So now I'm in Gmail first, and this is where I'm going to start my examples. So inside Gmail, if you have Gemini available to you, you're going to find at the very bottom we have Help Me Write. If you don't see Help Me Write, it's this icon here. If I click it off, it goes away. Click it on, it turns on again. So if I click Help Me Write, this is where I'm going to put my prompt. So if I go and I already have one ready, I'm going to just paste this in. So I'm going to say, please write me an email to invite people to a party March 17th, 2024. Remind them we're green, embellish how much fun. Career advancement starts at 4 p.m. and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and hit create now. It quickly goes through, puts that information. You can see there's the March 17th, 2024. It's embellishing it. There's the time I mentioned that it's going to start at, how it's good for your career. Now, I haven't inserted it yet. Notice that this is where I'm going to put my name, but I have some different options. So notice this is pretty casual. I say hi there. But if I wanted to, let's say, formalize this, if I click formalize, notice now that if I take a look at it, it becomes dear, and then I could put the name in. But I could go back. I could do shorten if I wanted something very short to the point. I can do there. But let's go back to elaborate. And you can keep going through. If you don't like what it says, you could just hit recreate, recreate. Now, if you get to what you like, you just go ahead and hit insert. Now I can go through, change this here if I wanted to put my name, and we can quickly have these emails written. Now, I just want to point out something here. I'm back over in my free account, my Gemini account, and I want to show you, you can kind of do the same thing inside here, and it will go right to your email. So if I was going to use the @ and I use the Gmail, because this is the free account, I have those extensions available, and I do the same thing. I'm going to say, please write me an email to invite the people. It's the same prompt that I did before, and I'm going to send it. So it writes me this prompt. And I can do the same thing as I showed you before. We could do different drafts. I could even prompt it to change the tone on it just by going down here. I can modify my responses to be longer, simpler, more casual. And if I get it the way I like here, all I have to do is share and export. And I go over to Gmail, open it up, and I have that message right in here. So did I gain anything from being right in my Gmail at this point when I'm composing? It's nice to be within, but even with the free account, you're getting the power of Gemini and connecting it to your Gmail or Docs as well. Now I've moved over to Google Docs, and if you have Gemini available in it, you're going to see Help Me Write when you create a brand new document. You can also use this to help edit any of your other documents too. So if I go just Help Me Write, and I'm going to put in the same prompt that I did before when I asked it to write the detailed, insightful essay. Let's see if it does the same for me inside Google Docs. I'm going to go ahead and hit create. So here we have, as I go through, it's definitely a different essay, but every time I generate a different prompt, it's going to give me a different one. So as I regenerate, it will change. Now at the very bottom, I can go and change the tone if I'd want. So formal or casual. I can summarize it, bulletize, elaborate, shorten, just like I could when I was showing you before. Let's go ahead and hit insert. So we could also do this to edit any of the documents that we have. So we could open up a previous document that we already written, and I'll just demo in this one. Now, if I click somewhere, notice I'm going to get this Help Me Write. I'm going to go and highlight this area here, and I'm going to click the Help Me Write. When I do this, I can change the tone for that specific that paragraph. So I could go say, well, you know, turn this one casual. If I like it, I could go ahead and replace. So now this becomes casual. I could take a different paragraph, go to it, and decide, you know what, I want to bulletize it. So if I go and bulletize it, rather than having maybe a paragraph, I could replace it. So I can go through and use it to help edit a document I already did, and I can make these changes very quickly inside Google Docs. Inside Google Slides, you're going to find Gemini right up here. Let's create an image with Gemini. I actually expected more from Google Slides. I thought we'd be able to put in a whole prompt and then it'll be able to create a whole slideshow. In Copilot and PowerPoint, I can do that. And I would imagine that will come with Google Slides as this advances. Now, right now, all I can do is insert an image. So if I go in here, and if I'm just going to take the prompt that they have. So all I'm going to do is hit Tab. So now it's a futuristic cityscape. I'm going to go and choose a style. So do you want photography, background? Let's go photography, and I'm going to hit create. Now we have our results down below. I can pick one if I want. So if I pick this picture, it goes and inserts it in. So now inside Google Slides, if you need a certain picture, you can prompt it to get created with the AI, with Gemini, and then you can insert it right into your Google Slides. To find Gemini in Google Sheets, what we need to do is click here, help me organize. This will open up the side panel over here. So this is where we're going to create our prompt. For our type of prompts here, we don't want to ask it a question. We want to give instructions instead to get good results. Now, I'm going to give an example here. I'll put in this one, tracking tasks for a project to build new website. I'm going to go ahead and click create. This will go through and it will give me data inside of this that I can change with my own. So now it's giving me a preview. It's not in the sheets yet. I have to go down and hit insert. Right now I'm just under preview. So let's go ahead and hit insert in, and we can see that it has our task names as we go through down, and we can change what we want. Is it in progress, to do, and it has all these things that we can go through and just put our own data in. So it makes it really simple based on the instructions I give it. Now, I do want to point out right here, hopefully this comes out sooner, but it says it will help me organize and be able to accurately edit and analyze content in your spreadsheet. So that would be nice when it will be able to take your own data and then you can ask it to create formulas, add more columns, and just work with the data that you have, not only just create these templates. Here I am in Google Meet and I already have my meeting started. So I'm just going to go ahead to more options here. And this is where we're going to find Gemini, apply visual effects. So we can do this by generating a background. So if I click generate a background, I can go ahead and I'm going to say an image of a serene mountain here. And I'm going to go and pick a style. Let's go, we'll just keep it in photography and we'll create our sample. So now I have my sample. I can pick what I want, and when I select it, it goes to my background. So the background generated by AI. The other thing I want to show you, I'm just going to go back. Under appearance, they have a few more things that you can turn on or off. You have studio lighting and studio look, just to help, you can see as it sharpens the features and everything, just to make sure that you're looking your best when you're on one of these Google Meets. We've covered a lot of features and how to use Google Gemini throughout this video. I hope you found this helpful and that you understand the importance of starting to learn this and how much time it can save for you. Thanks for watching this time on Teachers Tech. I'll see you next time with more tech tips and tutorials.